DraftSociety.com presents a Premier League Draft Fantasy Podcast. Welcome to the Key Pass Collective. Your exclusive source for the information, analysis, and advice you need to dominate your fantasy leagues. Come on in. We've been expecting you.
Draft heads, welcome back into the Key Pass Collective. My name is Joe Williams, and I will be begrudgingly hosting another episode of this podcast. Two-game week loss for me on a streak, and just got demolished this week by a team that just is an all-star team. I would have beaten every other team in the league except for two, and it's just one of those weeks. But hey, it's okay. We're here for you. We're going to put on a smile, even if we have to paste it on, and get you prepared for this game week 24, get you prepared for some of the double game weeks and the blank game weeks that are upcoming. And we'll soldier through just for you listeners. Reminder, the KPC is the audio companion to the Draft Society website. That's going to have your rankings, your stats, your articles, basically everything that you need to dominate the draft fantasy footy game. Was just looking at the articles today. I haven't mentioned these in a while, but head over to the articles section. You'll find hot or cold players for every week. You'll find waiver wire targets for every week. Ryan writes a Ghost Point Hunters article targeting players who are just really putting up those underlying peripheral stats. We've got sleepers. I mean, there's just so many things weekly on there completely for free to set you up for victory. So head over there. And if you're willing, part with a couple dollars a month and we'll get you insider benefits through the inner circle, projections, rest of season rankings, fixture difficulty tracker, and so much more. Check it out. Independent fantasy site. We would love your support. And thank you for those who already do support us. We really love you guys. We appreciate you. All right. Let's talk to a couple really top lads here. Totti and Ryan. Totti, how's the week? How are things? And very quickly, tell us about your jealousy-inducing trip you're about to go
on. Tomorrow is my final day before the aforementioned trip, so I still have a lot of loose ends to tie up at work, and I haven't packed single thing yet, but yeah, we're leaving on Sunday for a two and a half week trip to Thailand with the family. So, and I didn't mention this because I haven't actually seen people interact with us on Twitter from Thailand, but obviously, if anyone is listening and is a silent part of the fantasy community or Fantrax community, then drop me a DM, send us an email, whatever, get in touch, and let's have a beer and a pad thai.
That sounds awesome. I'd love that. Ryan, you've been everywhere in the world. I assume you've been to Thailand.
Yeah, I went to Bangkok for like a week a few years back. I didn't make out of Bangkok though. So I'm curious about your itinerary.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So
we're going to.
I'm not going to come, man. I'm not going to ruin your family vacation.
Come, please come. We're spending 3 days in Bangkok, then 3 days in Chiang Mai, which is like a province in the north, with great hikes and ethical elephant sanctuaries and stuff like that, which I think the kids will enjoy. And then we are making our way to the south, to the islands, and we'll do a few days in the mainland, on the mainland, and then move on to Koh Lanta, which is supposed to be a very chill kind of island destination. So no ping pong
No Phuket.
shows and stuff like that. No Phuket, but
I was
more,
gonna say.
more.
I was going to say
What,
it's interesting you're going with your family because in Bangkok, as you can imagine, you can get really weird.
Yeah, I've heard stories from friends who've been on sort of lads trips.
Lads
Probably
trips.
probably a very different experience this time around
Yeah,
for
this will be
myself,
better.
but I think this will be a bit more enjoyable, a bit more adult and sophisticated. This is
There you
not
go.
the um was it the two
Hangover.
episodes ago? There was the Dark Side Totti edition of the pod. No,
Yeah,
I've gone back into my
dad mode.
sophisticated dad mode.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we
so
can.
yeah, it's gonna be fun, and I'm actually, now that I've realized that there may be someone from the community there who we haven't interacted with or haven't realized is from Thailand.
It's got to be
Um, I'm
somebody.
yeah. I mean, hopefully
Not
there
Iceland,
will be
but
somebody.
got to be somebody.
Yeah, it's not Iceland. We're
No,
like
it's not. Well, what
Iceland.
is? Nothing
I
is
mean,
I
Iceland.
mean, they'd meet us at the airport in fucking Iceland.
at, at,
Absolutely.
at this
Beers in
point,
hand.
I think we would get recognized in Iceland.
That's too much. No, absolutely not. They might hear my laugh somewhere and be like, "Who the? Wait,
Yeah.
is that?"
Yeah. Is that
Oh, that's awesome.
Casey Kasem?
Yeah, we really do need to get to Iceland. We made a promise to these people.
Yeah.
They supported us through thick and thin.
To afford it, we need to up the inner circle price.
We
but
probably that's fine. Yeah.
This is the announcement. You're going to up
No.
the inner circle price.
Don't start that. Don't start that. Okay, moving on. Anyway, I'm super jealous, Totti, but moving on regardless. All right, today on the show, we're going to talk about some double game weeks, some blank game weeks. I've started calling them the DGBGs. Just 'cause I think it rolls off the tongue. I kind of like the way it sounds. Overview of the fixture irregularities, if you will, coming up in the next few game weeks. We're going to talk you through how to prepare for those and maybe some strategic elements to ponder when looking at your opponents and thinking through some of your matchups. Then we'll kind of end it off with a quick temp check. So this is players that we're kind of having trouble putting a value on at the moment, sort of trying to figure out exactly how good these players are for fantasy purposes, whether or not they're living up to our expectations from previously in the season or preseason, and then what to do about that. So we'll talk through some of those. So first, let's talk about these DGBGs, these double game weeks, these blank game weeks that are upcoming. Of course, if you want my opinion on this, these are the bane of my existence as a fantasy manager. I just hate playing the double game weeks. I hate trying to bring in all these players. It just really annoys the hell out of me. But unfortunately, I mean, it is what it is. And there are going to be players, of course, whose value is immense in these double game weeks. I just had the pleasure of going up against Bukayo Saka in a double game week. So things like that you obviously have to take into account. And then, of course, blank game weeks. I mean, maybe more concerning than even going up against or fielding a double game week player. So, these are things we're going to talk through. Quickly, though, or maybe not even quickly, because there's a lot to talk about. Totti, you sort of have volunteered to walk us through some of the upcoming blanks and doubles and sort of summarize for us what to expect over the next 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah, probably not worth looking that far ahead, but I'll try to do my best. So we've just finished up 23. 24 will be a a normal single game week.
Thank God.
And the next guaranteed single game week is 26, but then, although unlikely that there will be so many double game weeks, but there's a decent possibility, a non-zero possibility that after 26, the next normal single game week is gonna be 33.
No. I can't do this. I can't.
Is that
So,
right?
yeah.
Holy shit! 10 game weeks in a row, basically.
I can't.
With
I can't.
Basically, with two single game
some
weeks.
matchup
Yeah.
to skewing nonsense.
Yeah.
Oh,
God.
Okay, so let's go week by week.
Okay.
So 24 is single. We're all good with that. But at this point, you have already pretty much settled on your game week 24 squads, maybe even your starting 11. So you can look ahead at game week 25. The benefit of game week 25 is that these matchups are already in the Fantrax system. So if you go to the little arrow on your team page and jump over to your game week 25, you will see which of your players have doubles and blanks. Arsenal, Liverpool, Everton, and Wolves have doubles, and Brighton, Brentford, Newcastle, and Man United have blanks. So 4 teams double, 4 teams blank. This is a pretty heavy hit on the normal game week situation. So
Yeah.
it's not always going to be this big of a hit. But yeah, this is going to be pretty damning. We'll talk about our strategies for 25 a bit later. Then 26 is a normal week again, and 27 is already announced as well. And Crystal Palace, Southampton, Brighton, and Brentford. So again, 4 teams have doubles in game week 27.
Anybody
Now,
blank that week?
no blanks in game week 27, so that's a bit easier. And so game week 20, and that is all the sort of decided stuff. This is all the certain stuff. Everything after game week 27 is just speculation. And I don't want to delve too deep into it because the fact that 25 and 27 are so skewed, you won't be able to sort of prepare for anything after 27. I think even 27 is a bit too far away. I'll talk a bit about 28 and then leave all the rest to chance. 28 is an interesting one because that's the FA Cup quarterfinals. So Arsenal, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Everton, and Forest, Newcastle. These are the 4 fixtures that are confirmed that cannot be blank. And there are a few more fixtures that are very likely to be blank. So Southampton, Spurs, Man City, West Ham, Brighton, and Man United are all above 95% to be blank, and then all the rest are highly likely, but possibly not. So we may have a game week in game week 28 where we have 4 fixtures.
Great. And that's
Yeah.
right
The
before
best.
29, which 29 looks to be the game week from hell. And nothing's
Yeah.
confirmed yet, obviously. But
Yeah, Nat. Yeah, 29 looks to be very likely, possibly a huge double game week because there is a non-occupied midweek after that. So a lot of fixtures could come into that. Um,
good lord.
the only information that is I think maybe somewhat relevant for the game weeks after 27 is that looking ahead until 33, Everton, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest, and yeah, that's it. These teams will not have a blank from now till game week 33.
Did you say Arsenal?
All I did not say that. Arsenal could blank in 32.
Oh, really? Okay, sorry. I was just looking through 31.
Yeah, Arsenal could blank in 32 if Southampton advance in the FA Cup.
Okay, so Arsenal then won't blank through 33 either.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Saints fans.
Harsh.
That was rude. That was rude. Okay, cool. All right. Anything else on that, Totti?
Yeah. So obviously all the confirmed doubles and blanks are already in our fixture difficulty tracker, which is available on our site. If you go to Inner Circle and choose fixture difficulty tracker from the drop-down menu, we reference it a fair bit on the pod and in most of our articles. This is an Inner Circle exclusive, but at this point, we have retired all our longer term plans, and you can just if you're looking to get the best out of these fixtures, then your best bet and your only bet currently is the $6 monthly pass that will get you access to the fixture difficulty tracker and much, much, much more. So that's $6 to look at this. This was the promo segment, and now
It works
now
out.
the
That's good.
now the actual preparation. So and interrupt me whenever you wanna add some stuff to my usual monologuing. So what I usually do, and I think this is at this time of year, it's a good strategy to have is try to consider your starting lineups for the upcoming 3 fixtures. Um, you can actually do that. You don't need to construct an Excel and import and export FDR and whatever. You can just do this in Fantrax. You can just move your players in for every game week into your starting lineup and move them out based on blanks and doubles, then and you will see a visual representation of how your team would look if you were already on that game week.
That's a good point. And
Um,
it doesn't ruin your current game week when you do that, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
You can there's a toggle that you can set so that any lineup changes are changed for all the game weeks after the one you are messing with. But you can untick that, and that will just mean that you're messing with only that game week's lineups.
That's good to know.
And then you can see how many fixtures you have, how many doublers you have, how many blanks you have, and you can start constructing a sort of waiver plan kind of thing. The first consideration is, for me, if you're not starting a player for the next 3 fixtures, you have to consider dropping them. Obviously, this is going to be true for these streamer level, you pick them up for high upside type of players. But if they, like, I think a good example is, and we talked about this. Sorry to bring this up, Joe, but Casemiro.
Yes.
And
Yes.
ultimately, you will probably decide on keeping him.
Yes.
But at this point, Casemiro is suspended for 24
Mm-hmm.
and blanking for 25,
Yep.
and then facing Liverpool in 26.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So that is a player that obviously Casemiro is, at the end of the day, you're deciding to keep him because you're just biting your tongue and then keeping him for 2 weeks on your bench. But
Yeah.
anyone lower, like Wout Weghorst, you're considering, if Liverpool actually knew how to defend, you would be seriously considering dropping him, as you may not want to play him in the next 3 game weeks.
Yeah. I've already seen him dropped in a league of mine.
Yeah, and players like this, like Newcastle are playing Liverpool this week. They're blanking in 25, and they're facing City after that. So at this point, now injured, and who knows when he's back, Wilson is getting very close to considering a drop for me.
Yeah.
And obviously, as we go deeper into this blank double game week hellhole, then there will be more and more players that you need to assess like this, considering. And once you have your next 3 planned with your current crop of players, then you'll see which game weeks you're lacking, which game weeks you need to beef up, and then you can consider waiver and free agent pickups with a view of that game week. That may be the next game week, but it may be like 2 game weeks on. And you can also use the scoring section on Fantrax to compare your team to whoever you're going to face on that double or blank game week. So you might decide that on game week 25 you're facing, I don't know, double Salah and double Martinelli or something like that. And you have your main asset is Trippier, who's blanking, and Mitoma, who's blanking, and maybe Bruno Fernandes. Then just give up that game week and move on. And you don't need to start putting in claims for Mateus Nunes or Abdullah Doucouré or
Sure.
players that you would mainly only consider for a double like this.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So there are a lot of like semi-intricate decisions that you can start making ahead of time when you are actually planning ahead for 3 game weeks.
Okay. As far as like just preparation is concerned, before we get into like the specifics on matchups and players, Ryan, anything that you're doing now to ensure that that you're ready for this?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to a fundamental concept that we've talked about ad nauseum and even written articles about, is the importance of being flexible, of having 3 to 4 open slots that you can do with what you will. They're so critical in the run-in for these types of blanks and doubles, so that you can take advantage of the doubles and try and swerve the blanks. And so the last few weeks I've done my damnedest to open up 3 to 4 slots, selling 2 to 3 players at a time for one upgrade. Those types of trades, and selling a couple guys that I'm iffy about for fab, which is another thing that will be helpful in these next few weeks when you're trying to take advantage of the matchups, is putting $1 on a player when 3/4 of your league doesn't have any fab anymore. Then it goes down to tiebreaker for the 0 bid. If you throw $1 on there, you're much more likelier to get that certain player. So being flexible, having some fab, and doing your business early. Like if you're trying to get DGW folks for next week, you're already too late. I've got them.
That's exactly why we want to talk about 25. Great transition, by the way. Talk about 25 right now, because if your waivers run tomorrow, or if you have, if your waivers have already run and some of these players have not gotten picked up, now's the time to do it. So let's get specific about this quick. We've got Liverpool taking this. I'm talking game week 25 here. We've got Liverpool taking on Palace and Wolves. I mean, that's pretty damn juicy. I know Liverpool have been not great, to say the least, but by anyone's book, that's juicy as hell. Arsenal taking on Leicester and Everton. Also great. Although Leicester, looking better. Everton, Villa, and Arsenal. Wolves, Fulham, and Liverpool. So looking forward towards that 25, are there players that are kind of like widely available that you guys are targeting?
I think they're probably gone at this point in a lot of leagues, but and we talked about, I think last week, the Wolves center backs, even though they didn't do well against Southampton, but they were a man down. Nobody really did. CMFD and Kilman, I think are good shouts for these. I think it's tough to tell if they'll get they're a tricky team, and you never know when they're going to get a clean sheet. They could pick up one, but I think those two have the ability to ghost enough where they can get you 6 or 7 in each game, despite conceding goals. In which case, if you got 14 or 15 from a DGW, that's really what you're looking for, what you'll take, which is why the CDM guys are usually a good bet. So I was going to actually ask you guys, some of the Liverpool mids, like the Fabinhos of the world, do they become viable now, even despite him having a terrible season? Does he become somebody that you're targeting for the double?
Totti, I'll let you answer that first. My initial
his scores are terrible.
Yeah.
No. I think I've just dropped Henderson looking at his scores. I'm not targeting any of the Liverpool midfielders. The only midfielder I'm targeting is the young Spanish lad who is actually a defender on contract.
Yeah.
Stefan Bajcetic, who is scoring decently. Not great, but one of those guys who is a double game week viable.
Exactly. Yep.
I'm not considering any of the midfielders. I think they are similar traps to what the City defenders brought us in game week 23.
Yeah, which brings us to Matip and Joe Gomez, right? Don't want anything to do with those two.
I mean, we all laughed at them. I shit posted on Twitter about them for an entire week. I vented to everyone that would hear me about how terrible they were, and then Klopp goes right back to them, and they looked fantastic.
Yeah, I've wanted. I think we all wanted, at least for the Bants, a Natty Ice start, but it never came.
I picked him up in both leagues, and
Yeah.
then just had to straight drop. That was frustrating. But I mean, obviously, as a fan, I appreciated the shift that the center backs put in. I thought they did a great job, to be honest, and I thought Matip was sort of back to his best with his weird long vertical runs down the middle that he somehow always just gets a chance to just. It's like it's like Moses, right? The Red Sea's just part for him, and he's just running 50 yards down the field. It's the strangest thing.
It's funny you mentioned that because I remember watching it in real time, and I was like, I love these mazy runs. Only, I mean, it looks like a giraffe streaming down the pitch.
100%. Yep.
And above and beyond the graphic of it, he opens up the lane for Trent to make his little runs on the perimeter on the right side. Yep. So I'm just like, this is amazing, because otherwise he just tucks in and just passes sideways. So I appreciated the Matip runs from as a Trent roster. And
there was one where it almost
assist will not be discussed.
There was one where it almost directly became an assist. Like, I mean, he dumped it off after running basically to the penalty box and dished it off, and I think it was a shot on goal. But yeah, I mean, so long story short, despite all that I've just said, he scored 10 points.
Yeah, I was sweating that. I was like, any goals for Everton is going to just ruin the score.
He scored.
Yeah, 10. I'm more interested in Gomez if Van Dijk comes back in, but at that point, who can tell whether it's going to be Gomez or Matip partnering Van Dijk? Could be one each. Even Konate could be back by the second game of the
CL throws a wrench into things. Incentivizes more rotation.
No, and that's the thing. I think Konate at this point is the first choice. The first choice to deputize Van Dijk, don't you, Totti?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I think if everyone's available, it's Konate and Van Dijk to start.
Yeah.
But I don't know how far along Konate is, and I don't know if Klopp wants to play two recently back from injury centre backs. It could lead to a similar situation as last week for Forest. Did you catch that they had to make two substitutions inside 10 minutes for both of their centre backs?
That's brutal.
Yeah, so I'm not touching Liverpool streamers in essentially in one word. The only streamer I'm interested is the aforementioned Spanish lad.
What about Everton? That's where it gets a bit tricky. A week ago, I mean, coming off the Arsenal win, you think Onana's viable, Decore potentially, even Seamus Coleman looked decent. Now you're thinking, man, I don't know. I really don't know. It's tricky. Like, do you punt on Mikalenko, Seamus Coleman, I just mentioned? I just don't know if I trust any of them. I'm willing to give Onana another chance because, none of them really scored that well other than Iwobi, who's a freaking machine against Liverpool. But, I want to see what he does this weekend. I'm not rushing to start him against Leeds necessarily, but this is kind of an audition for the DGW.
Sure.
For me.
I mean, I think if you're going to roster Everton assets, at this point, you're holding them for the run-in because, and here's what I mean. Like, I know they have Villa and Arsenal for the double, but then it's Forest and Brentford. So it's like, especially midfielders. Like, if you're going to hold Onana now, obviously Leeds midfielders average 10.4 standard scoring points per game, which I'm getting from our fixture difficulty tracker, 10.4 per game. So that's great. Then you have the double, and if you have a baseline, hopefully somebody like you mentioned Onana. Hopefully he does, even though he was crap against Liverpool. But then Forest and Brentford, both midfield friendly teams. That's exactly what you want. So yeah, if you're going to roster an Everton asset now, you're probably holding them.
Yeah, I think you can still say maybe I'll drop them. Like I'm the same with Doucouré as Ryan is with Onana. I'm probably giving him a shot to save his place this week. But if he's scoring under 5 points or under 6 points, rather, then I'm not keeping for the double. Trying to trade him out for the double, but I'm not playing him if he's scoring 2 games both under 5 points.
Yeah.
I don't want him for the double.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, real quick, Totti. What are you looking for a double? If you pick up a center defensive mid who they normally don't score super well with Fantrax's default scoring, you're looking for what, 15 over 2 matches? I mean that's your goal.
18 from Partey for 90 minutes.
I mean, but that's because he was against me and Ryan, wasn't he?
Yeah. Assisting his gravity.
Yeah. Don't forget to post the teams you're facing.
Yeah. Happy to.
Yeah. I think 15 is decent. I think I'd be okay. Like a good example was this week's Bernardo Silva, who got I think 11 points, and at this point in time, I was actually pretty happy with his 11 points. Like at the end of the day, you're not you weren't expecting him to go out and score 75 points for you, and you would have started him with the hope that he breaks double digit for the double. He's essentially become Fabinho, Henderson, Doucouré type.
Yeah,
you're only keeping him on your team if he is giving you some city coverage. Other than that, if he's your only city player, then you're probably dropping him.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm happy. I'm even happy with like 12 points from a double game week streamer. I wrote in the doc that for me in this double game week 25, essentially Wolves and Everton, I'm considering who to start based on this being a single game week for them. Like I'm in my mind, I'm considering it as a single game week because they both have decent opponents in the first game, and then a bit more difficult in the second game. Obviously, Arsenal at this point is a much more difficult proposition than Liverpool, but yeah,
to say the least.
To say the least. But yeah, so I'm considering, like, when I'm looking at Doucouré or Mikolenko, if I decided to start either of them in a single, then I'm probably happy to start them obviously in the double as well. And anything I get from the second game is becoming a win rather than an expectation. Like I'm not expecting any Everton player to score above 8 against Arsenal.
No.
Iwobi.
Maybe Tarks. Oh, well, yeah, Iwobi. Yeah.
Iwobi's a fucking machine, man.
Death and taxes and 12 points.
Yeah, but Iwobi is not a streaming consideration. Iwobi, you would start in a single game week as well.
He's 72% rostered anyway, so you're not going to get him. You're not going to get Tarkowski. McNeil's still available in 44% of leagues.
I'd be pretty confident starting
Yeah.
him in the double.
I would start him. I would start Onana. That's borderline for me, and I think that's maybe it. Oh no, sorry, Pickford.
So not Mikolenko or Doucouré or Coleman.
I don't think so. Not for me.
I
think I'd do
there.
Doucouré. I think Onana's a bit more boom and bust. I think Doucouré is more of a solid 6 to 7. But yeah, I want to see how they do this weekend because we only have 2 data points and they're completely different from the Deitch era. So hopefully this weekend gives us a little bit more information.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean Doucouré scored like a normal center mid in the Arsenal masterclass.
Yeah.
And then got you negative points against Liverpool.
Yeah, and Onana put up 12 ghosts against Arsenal and then 0.5 against Liverpool. So
and got subbed off early. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a minefield.
You're not considering Damari Gray, are you?
If he's starting the first, then I'm playing him, obviously.
Okay.
It's a single game week situation. Like anyone with decent upside starting the first game, I'm playing and then hoping they get something from the second game.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. All right. Go ahead, Ryan. You made it sound like you were going to say something.
Yeah, I'm pondering. I'm pondering Wolves. I'm thinking about João Gomez.
It's dangerous.
Came on for his debut against Southampton, man down, scored the winning goal.
Who did he come on for? Like who would he start in place of?
Boubacar Traoré is out injured for a while.
I'll look it up. You continue.
I'm blanking on who has. I'm blanking on who has a yellow suspension. Who will come in for this weekend? It's not Nunes. It's not Neves. Mario Lemina. He comes in for Mario Lemina, who got the red. Yeah. But that's what makes me worried about his place once he's back next week.
It's only a 1 week red.
Yeah. It's because he got the 2 yellows. So it's like your Everton thesis. I'm tempted if João Gomez starts the first. Because he's got a bit of upside to him. And if he does well enough, he could keep his place because Lemina's in a similar boat. They're both new transfers. So maybe Lopetegui goes with the hot hand. So he's somebody I'm considering. Moutinho probably doesn't get both. There's really no others. I mean, Cunha is interesting, but he can drop a 0 like it's nobody's business as
easily
as we know Totti. Never forget. And then the X factor is Pedro Neto there. Does he get a cameo this weekend? Does he build up enough fitness to become a factor in the DGW? Who the hell knows?
Yeah, I'd like.
My guess is no.
My guess is no as well. Like he's been out a long time. I think he'll be going in easy. So like 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there. I'd venture we see his first start in March.
Oh, in a similar vein, and speaking of Portuguese, really quickly before we move on completely from Liverpool, if Diogo Jota does not start the first match in the double, are you starting him?
Yeah, Liverpool forwards are a minefield from now on.
Yeah,
they have five players available for 3 spots, and none of them are in form.
And Diaz is back soon.
I wouldn't say soon. He's only
month.
just started
Yeah.
running outside, so I'd say our initial thoughts of him getting around 6 to 8 starts is around where I'd have him still. So yeah, but even 5 players for 3 spots is too much.
Yeah.
Um, so I kind of like Jota just because he gives something different. And he has a high upside, much higher upside than Firmino. I
Sure.
think it will be interesting to see which player Klopp integrates first, because Firmino starting the press and organizing the forward press could be vital to them like solidifying their defensive shapes, but he doesn't like. I know Ryan likes to point this out, but
biting my tongue.
He doesn't offer much offensively, and Jota is the other way around. So Jota will not be the savior cometh regarding the forward press situation Liverpool have found themselves in, but he gives you that explosive, that box arrival type of crashing the box situation that they also need. So like I wouldn't be surprised to see both of them get starts in place of Nunes and Gakpo at some point.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. I
Did you, Totti? Were you able to watch the match this week?
the Everton one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because Jota looked very rusty.
Yes.
Yeah.
First touch was a bit off.
He looked very rusty. He gave the ball away a lot. He just was not. He wasn't on it.
Yeah, but it's to be expected.
But I agree. But yeah, I don't think he's. I don't know that he's going to be starting anytime. When I say quote unquote soon, I mean like within the next 2-3 matches. I don't know that he's in line for a starting role yet. So I think you're starting him from the bench, and you're hoping for, in a double game week, you're probably hoping for 45 minutes, maybe 55 if you're lucky.
If he doesn't look good or decent in real life in game week 24, then I'm not even considering starting him if he's not starting the first in game week 25.
Okay. That's good to know.
What do you think the odds of Gakpo starting both in the DGW?
He's played a lot of football. He's been the only one healthy. So,
yeah, if they're easing everybody else back in, I mean,
yeah,
I'd still put his chances pretty high for this upcoming double game week, but they're probably trending down after that.
Yeah.
Just because both Firmino and Jota are coming back from longer injuries.
I think that sounds right. And then maybe he gets a nice rest for United, and then he's back for Bournemouth. Best of all worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah, or he tried to trade high after the double.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that is game week 25. Is there anything else we want to mention? Oh, go ahead.
Real quick on Arsenal, since they get the double as well.
They're just so highly rostered, like all those players.
Yeah. I know, but with Partey's injury, that does raise the specter of a Jorginho double. So I had to throw that out there. 6 points against City. Hey, I'll take 12 in a DGW. The extent of Partey's injury is pretty much unknown still. Most of the reports I've read make it sound like it's not that serious, but I've heard that song and dance before, and it did end up being more long term. He actually looked pretty good. I have to admit, against City,
He's pretty
was
involved.
certainly one of our brighter players, and unlucky to not get an assist or something from that interception turned beautiful through ball to Eddie Nketiah that he scuffed. So if Partey's going to be out, I know for the DGW, Jorginho becomes somewhat viable.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. And
what do you think of the Martinelli Trossard situation for 24 and 25?
I've seen a lot of I've seen a lot of clamoring for Kieran Tierney to come in and that would force Zinchenko into a actually defined midfield role as opposed to an informal inverted fullback role. But
I mean, I prefer Zinchenko there over Jorginho.
Yeah, that's the fear for the few and the proud Jorginho rosters.
Yeah.
But yeah, the up top, there's been also a lot of clamoring for Eddie to get a rest, and for either Trossard or Martinelli to get a run out as the false nine up top. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does of them against Villa. I could see Eddie being benched and then Trossard on the left, Martinelli up top, or vice versa. Or I could see him persisting with Eddie and Trossard coming in for Martinelli to give him a rest. But then if that's the case, then unless Trossard lights it up, then I still think he's very loyal to Martinelli. So I would be surprised if Trossard starts the first of the DGW.
Yeah, I have my sneaky feeling that actually, Ryan, you put the bug in my ear during our draft day conversations, where you would temper our expectations of Martinelli.
I know it's finally happening, but too late.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's just sort of, I have a sneaky feeling that although Martinelli has had a definite breakout season, no question about that, and he's been lights out. He's earned a World Cup spot, stuff like that. But it's just that it's a consideration that it may be something that Arteta was more forced into with Martinelli's amazing form and not having a decent backup. So now that his dip in form is coinciding with an actual decent backup for him, this might turn into something of a timeshare, not a proper, like not a Pochettino Spurs wingback type of timeshare, but like one that makes you wanna consider
bringing
actually holding Trossard or bringing in Trossard as a Martinelli owner.
Yeah, I think the big test for that will be this weekend. If Trossard doesn't get a start after Martinelli starts two in quick succession, and there's a really shorthanded game week, plus Martinelli not being in form for a while, then I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, it's tricky because I think what we didn't know was how much Martinelli depended on Jesus moving around and floating and playing 1-2s with and opening up space for him. He just doesn't look the same player with Nketiah up top as more of a kind of stationary, prototypical number 9. So there's a case to be made for trying to trade in Martinelli on the low, given how bad he's been scoring wise over the last 2 months. You could play up the fact that Trossard's, competing for his spot. He's been bad, but at the same time, Arteta apparently seems to still rate Martinelli, especially if he starts him this weekend, and then Jesus comes back and Martinelli cooks again. So this might be a rare trade low opportunity with a closing window for getting in Martinelli right now. But that's just if you like to live dangerously.
Okay, that's fair. I like that analysis.
We've sort of seamlessly transitioned into our temp check segment. So some players you can't quite put your finger on their value at the moment. Ryan, tell me about Nketiah quickly. Tell me your thoughts on him. Like it seems like if you trade him out now, you're trading out on a low. But would you rather just do that just to kind of be rid and maybe get in I don't know, like one of those Everton DGW assets we were talking about? Maybe bring in to even get Iwobi or something. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
If I could get Iwobi, I'd think about it, but I don't think you could get what you probably would deserve or what would tip the scales for you to want to sell him. I mean, he's exactly who we thought he was going to be.
Yeah,
a streaky, goal dependent forward. And
they tricked us in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a couple monster performances. And then he's had his 4-pointers, which, yeah, you got to take the good with the bad. But yeah, I'm holding for the double. Good matchups. Jesus is still going to be a few weeks away.
Yeah,
depends on what you could get, but yeah, I think I'm gonna hold.
Yeah, I mean,
go
ahead, Totti, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say I doubt you can get real long-term value for him, like an Iwobi. I'd consider selling him for an Iwobi, but I doubt, just like Ryan said, I doubt you can get him. In which case, I wouldn't if he was a streamer, he would be one of the top streamers for the next 2 game weeks.
100%. And I was just going to bring that up. And when you look at the fixture difficulty tracker and you look at the forwards column, Arsenal are at the top and it's not close. Villa forwards average 10.7, Leicester forwards average 11.8, Everton 11.3, Bournemouth 12.3, Fulham 11.2. I mean, it's
exactly. So essentially, he could get you very close to winning you at least one of the next 2 game weeks. Could you get a player in for him who gets you to win a game week? I doubt you could.
Yeah, probably not.
Because everyone's excited about Jesus coming back as well.
Unless you can get in Rodri.
I'm
of course talking about imminent goal threat Rodri.
You're talking
heavily involved in the attacking play.
38-pointer Rodri.
Yep. Center attacking mid. Rodri.
Yeah. We know.
Yeah, okay. Cool. Okay, so before we actually move on, anything else on fixtures, blank and or double?
No.
Cool. All right, let's go back to Temp Check then. So we talked several Arsenal players, which were on our list. Totti, you mentioned Trossard. We talked Martinelli. We talked a little bit of Nketiah. So, Ryan, what are your other players who you're kind of wondering or you want to get a take on our perception of their current value?
A couple new transfers, and those are always the the hardest to gauge, right? Because you don't have a track record with him, so you haven't built up that trust. So there's always that lingering suspicion that they might be frauds, and you just don't have that full faith and confidence to start him every week. Long wind up into saying that might not be the case with Dango Unchained.
Dango.
20 points against the best defense in the league.
He's a man.
I'm trying to figure out how to value him at this point, because he started like a house on fire, but Bournemouth
especially
have a terrible
with
run of fixtures.
A terrible run, I was going to say that.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
Of course,
run.
I already traded him out, so I'm loving that decision.
I think that's smart.
Smart.
Um,
I'd do that for Traore, the Hamed type. Double that. Like Otara, I'd actually be okay keeping. I applaud your forward thinking in trading him out, but I wouldn't mind keeping, because like the fixture difficulty, the fixtures look bad, but I could see Bournemouth taking a goal in a few of those. And if they do, then Dango could be involved. Whereas if they don't have the ball, then I doubt Traore keeps up the ghost wizardry he has been subjecting our eyes to.
and Tavernier's back.
And Tavernier's back as well.
Totti, did you see Overthinking Football's tweet about Watara?
No.
Okay. Just because I know this will perk your ears up a little bit. So they just basically they updated their expected fantasy points rankings. Shout out to Overthinking Football. We love them. But here's the tweet. 3 games isn't enough to definitively judge a player, but more than enough evidence to place some bets on Iheanacho, 27% rostered, and Dango Ouattara, 38% rostered, who are both crushing expected fantasy points in limited appearances with more than 15x fantasy points and 100% quality starts.
Love to hear that. Quality starts.
You and your quality starts.
Translate that into the King's
Layman's
English.
King's English.
To me,
that
that
they are
to me, that
overperforming.
reads, yes.
Forwards, essentially.
To me, that reads trade out. Personally,
I'm not. I don't think it means trade out to me. It means that they have been very good, which we have seen, but it also means that they have been very good compared to other forwards too. Like quality starts means that they have been in the top 75 percent of all forward scores in these games.
Yeah, for sure.
So they're not just good in a vacuum, they're good compared to all other fantasy forwards. Meaning that you can't get anything better than them, or possibly better than them as in a trade.
Right, but we mentioned the fixtures. I mean, Wolves, obviously, Otara's already in my lineup. City, Arsenal, Liverpool, but ironically, Liverpool are now colored green on our fixture difficulty tracker for forwards.
It's finally caught up.
Yep, it is a great matchup for forwards.
Yeah, but the only matchup I would have real qualms about starting him is that Arsenal game. I really think that Bournemouth have a chance to score a goal against City, and if they score a goal, then I think he will be involved. I think it's that simple. City haven't been good on the conceding goals front. So
when I was talking about trading out Utara. I was actually being sarcastic when I said I feel great about trading him out because I traded him out like 3 weeks ago when I first got him.
Oh yeah, that was too early. Too early.
Yeah. But I had to make a move because I wanted to get Gundogan for the DGW and get enough fab to get Poro. Who's I need
Both of those decisions.
I need to spark a.
Oh no!
I need to spark a Poro after that performance.
Porro. Oh yes.
But
hope you forget.
Yeah, the guy I traded him to is after I talked him into it. He's loving him some Dango. So is what it is. I kept him in one league though, so
yeah,
it'll be fine. But yeah, he seems set and forget at this point. We'll see if he levels off. And then the Hamid Traore, I was pretty adamant, like you, Totti, that if they don't have much of the ball, there's no chance he can really score that well. But test case of that was against Brighton, when they didn't really have much of the ball at all, as expected against a possession dominant team like Brighton. And he still got you, what was he, 8.5, 9.5?
Yeah.
And then Tavs came on and he still dominated set pieces. I mean, we'll see what happens when they incorporate Tavernier from Jump Street. But yeah, I think these two have a chance at being fantasy real. And Ouattara could be remember I always say that it's always a random January transfer that takes the cake and ends up being the top one.
Yeah,
it wasn't Veghorst last time. It might not be Poro this time. So it could be Ouattara.
I'm just spending a little bit more time with his numbers. I think we already did this last week, maybe, or 2 weeks ago, but it's fine. But yeah, I mean, he scores all over the place. Like in terms of his fantasy numbers,
Hamid,
as long as what'd you say?
You're talking about Hamid?
No, I'm talking about Dango.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting you peripheral stats everywhere. I mean, and we're talking even like clearances. He has 6 clearances. He has 4 successful dribbles. He's got 2 block shots, 9 aerials. Like what? He's just everywhere. I honestly think when you look at his ball recoveries, which is not a stat we usually look at, but 12 ball recoveries. I mean, to me, it screams of a player whose work rate is insanely high, and he's just everywhere.
Yeah, high press is working for Bournemouth.
Yeah,
I
like him.
Press.
I like him. I still would trade him out if I got a good deal, but that's all. I'll say.
Better than the fraud that is Tete, huh?
Okay, it's too soon for that. Come on.
All right, we'll see.
You guys have a bet on that,
under
right?
10 already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to happen when you have. It's going to happen when you have 17 and then 1.
I think that's going to be his MO from here on out.
But yeah, that is concerning. Totti, the one against Spurs in a 4-1 victory. Is that? Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Who hurt you?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, I've seen Harvey Barnes do the same thing, so I'm not that concerned. Like I would have loved for him to get involved, so that I could gloat. But yeah, I wasn't gonna get too excited about him. Like
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I think he'll be good. He'll be up and around the top 5 new transfers in for overall scores, and obviously I still think he'll be decent for points per game or points per start or points per 90, whichever. All of the sets I think he will be decent for, but he'll have off games where he is not involved.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Ryan, any other players you want to run past us as far as Temp Check is concerned?
One last one on my list. MGW. Interesting one. Had that phantom injury that everybody thought he was going to be out for like several months.
Right.
It ended up being like several hours.
Everybody picked up Scarpa. They were all excited. Yep.
Exactly. So, yeah, he's shown some fantastic ghosting ability. Does he keep it up? Does he stay fit? Do we actually believe in him rest of season? He's a tricky one to really nail down.
Yeah. Very tricky. I was just looking through Robbie's weekly rest of the season ranks, and he is.
Did he fall?
He is 21st.
Oh, wow.
Just below Andrew Robertson and Jared Bowen, and just above Olise, João Felix, and McAllister, and Real Mahrez. I think that's a decent spot for him, to be honest. Like if there's no ghost injury or real injury, then he should be like the best player on a crappy team situation. Yeah.
That feels too high for me, if I'm being completely honest. Love Robbie. Does amazing work. That feels too high. Ahead of João Felix, I think is crazy.
I'd rather MGW than João Felix.
Wow.
Tough one. That's a tough one.
All right. Let's put a glass of wine on it in Italy, Totti.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's do that.
All right. I'll put it on. I mean, Totti's already losing one João Felix bet, so might as well add another.
What is the bet? What is the bet?
You remember? You've forgotten already? It's
no. This one.
This one? I don't know.
Rest of season?
Is it just ROS or is it
rest of season
total points?
Total points? Yeah. I'm fine.
All right. I'm here for it.
That. Good.
Man, that's gonna be. That could be close. I like that.
It'd be a good one. I'm excited about it, actually. Nice.
Going in the dock.
Okay, cool. So Ryan, I mean, okay, Totti is bullish, man. That should answer your question right there. Like, it doesn't sound like he's got any doubts whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, he's been fantastic on sets, all of that. I think he's got a bit of Andreas Pereira vibes to him potentially, where he could maybe level off a bit and have some stinkers. Maybe become a bit more boom or bust, but yeah, I mean, I think the bet's gonna be close. I think he's up there. I'd probably be, in terms of that ranking, I'd probably drop him down a few pegs, but not that many. I mean, he's got a case to be up there. So, yeah, maybe Robbie wasn't hammered on the gamma ray. Maybe he was onto something there. He was mainlining the secret of the universe.
It could be. Yeah, Forest go City, West Ham, Everton, Tottenham, and that may sound worse than it actually is because midfielders averaged close to 10 points per match against Tottenham. So not anything to really worry about too much there. And then the other ones, City is a concern, but otherwise, yeah, not bad.
Yep.
Okay. I like it. All right, Totti, how about you? We talked about Trossard, I think. We talked about Neto and Gakpo. Did you want to delve any further on any of those?
The only one I wanted to get your takes on, just because, one, I traded him in recently, and two, I am a admitted Chelsea skeptic, is Mikhailo Mudryk. And this is continuing Ryan's theme of there being a lot of moving pieces considering new signings. He seems to be nailed on.
Well, he seems to be nailed on for 60 minutes at most.
Nailed on for starts. Let's be positive. Glass half full.
Yeah. I agree.
He's a really tricky one. I think tricked us all, and you would have had to had some cojones to try to trade him high after that brief cameo against Liverpool where he looked like he was a straight up baller. Like, if anybody who's listening, if you traded him out on a high after that, let us know. And
shout us out. If you got like a second round pick, or like the equivalent, if you got like a JWP for him or something, like, let us know.
Yeah, amazing work. But he's looked really bad. I actually watched I went to a friend's place to watch Arsenal Man City, and they're Chelsea fans, and they had a second screen on with the Champions League game going, and he actually looked pretty good in that. He's looked pretty bad in his Premier League cameos, I must say, but he could benefit from Chile if Chile's actually back and not suffering from a knock again. I know he went off a little bit early in Champions League, but he could benefit from actually having Chile to overlap with, as opposed to Cucurella. But yeah, he's a mystery wrapped into an enigma inside some sort of clown costume.
I think he's gonna.
Go ahead.
I think he's gonna be unfortunately pretty dependent on attacking returns. I don't think he's gonna get the dribbles that we thought he was gonna get. He mainly dribbles into open space, which he does
a bit too.
Really well. But I actually watched most of that West Ham match, and I thought he looked really dangerous the whole time. I mean, there were a couple chances that either just the pass was just a hair shy, or it was because the play involved Kai Havertz that he didn't get an attack.
Midas touch.
Right. And honestly, like, I'm being completely serious. If there was a different striker in that team, or if they were using a false nine or something, I honestly
just
believe
not
that,
playing a striker there, so
or
that
just not. Yeah,
he doesn't pass to a blue shirted guy.
Right. I really believe that Mudryk would have already had some attacking returns. He's impressive to me when I watch him on the pitch, but it doesn't always translate, and he might be in that gray area.
So considering Robbie's ranks again, he's 54th. Sandwiched between Harvey Barnes and the aforementioned Burkinabe forward Dango.
That feels about right.
I'd rather have Dango, to be honest.
Same, yeah, but that generally feels about the right like area for me.
Yeah,
because he's still got a chance to come good. It's still pretty early.
Yeah, and at some point you would consider Porro is ahead of them.
Pobrecito Porro.
Oh man,
just ahead of them.
All right, yeah. I mean, no. I don't know. You can't trade him now, right?
No, you can't.
Yeah,
unless you have some diehard Chelsea fans in your league.
Yeah, no, you're holding at this point, and so your bed's made. But I don't mind him. And plus, is he a forward or is he a midfielder?
He's a midfielder.
He's a mid. Chelsea mid prospects look real good, according to the. We've talked about the fixture difficulty tracker a lot today, but that's fine. I'm happy to tout it. Southampton, Tottenham, Leeds, Leicester, all averaging almost 10 points a match. Fantrax default scoring. So, touch wood, Totti. And
touch wood and touch his silky yellow hair.
Hey, yeah.
And let's get some points, boys.
Yes. All right. Okay, I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on just one of these guys, because the other ones I think we can leave in the dust for now. Phil Foden is a quandary, and we don't need to go into that today. It's fine, especially because I think we'll just shy away from talking about City assets for the sake of one member of this pod. Let's talk about Michael Olise. So
before we go on to Michael Olise,
okay,
I have to pull a genie here and and drop off at this point.
That's all good.
It's been a pleasure, boys.
Man.
Oh shit, you're gonna be out, man.
Not be joining for the next two, but
no.
If you don't call in from an elephant, I'm gonna be very upset.
I may actually do because I have no idea. I haven't checked the anything but the time zones either. But the time zones might be lining up a bit better. I might be able to join from breakfast.
You actually might.
That's true. It's 12 hours. It's 7 a.m. in Bangkok right now.
Yeah. So if you're considering potting a bit later for yourself, then I'll be sipping my morning cocktails and joining you.
Jesus, if you're hitting it at 7 a.m., you're having a good vacation.
Bloody Marys exist. Let's go.
And it's after midday somewhere.
Exactly. Precisely. Even if it's the day before.
Exactly.
All right, buddy. Safe travels.
So, yeah.
Have a good trip, man.
I'll be sending some jealousy-inducing pics soon.
Please do.
Okay. See you guys.
Right, cheers, my friend.
See you, dude.
All right, Ryan. Let's wrap her up quick. But first, give me your thoughts on Olise, because we talked about his ranking. With Robbie, he's got him in the 20s. When you look at the guy's numbers, especially recently, what's going on there?
He's a funny one because it's always been a lot more hype than real points. Like he's always been kind of talked about at a level that he's never really reached points wise. So people think he's a lot better than he is. And it's been that case. Like I remember I ended up trading him out, but I was rostering Eze early in the season and everybody was just clamoring and talking about Olise. And I'm just like, Eze's just quietly outscoring him.
Not anymore.
That's kind of, that tide has turned a bit. And thankfully after I traded him out, but he's one of those guys that's just, who's got more name recognition, I think, because we've probably had something to do with that. But Palace is a fickle mistress, especially without Wilf. I just don't know if I trust really any of their assets to be that high on rankings. So 10 ghosties against Brighton last time out, pretty good. Can't fault that.
Not bad.
He had that great game against Man United when he hit the last second free kick, but he's tricky. Palace have potentially that DGW in 27, right? But I doubt you could get what you would want to get for him. I would certainly, if I had him, I'd be testing the waters.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, I don't have him anywhere, but I've tried multiple times to trade him in, and I've been met with exactly what you're describing.
Ridiculous
it's like
demands,
like an unrealistic like interpretation of his value, and it's just like, but you need to, especially at this point in the season, you need to be spending time with the numbers. And if somebody still has hope in him that he's going to repeat, that 30-point performance that he had against, who was that? Didn't he score 30 against somebody? Or was that a double? Maybe that was a DGW. Yeah, that was the double. He scored 30 against Chelsea and United in that double game week. But if you have hopes that something like that will continue, then I don't know. Would you trade out to somebody for a reasonable price right now, or would you hold?
Yeah, he's really tough to gauge. That's why he's a good one for this. I'm trying to think who specifically I would take for him. It might be worth offering him out for Martinelli, to be honest. You might be able to get something for him.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I would certainly take Martinelli in that one because I think he's going to trend higher. Like I said, when Jesus comes back, and he's on a low right now, and Olise has probably kept his name recognition value.
Would you take MGW?
Oof, man, that's a good one. Oh man,
that's tough.
God, I probably would, but that's really close, really, really close. I could see both sides of that.
Yeah, for sure. Whew, man. Yeah, that's a tricky one right there.
Yeah, he's a really hard one. Kulu's a good one.
Yeah, I had mentioned Kulu here. I don't know if we had time or not.
But
I
mean, now that Totti's blocked out, we got all the time in the world.
He's been disappointing as hell for his managers.
Yeah, right.
And especially, I mean, with some decent matchups that they've had, against Fulham, against Brentford, against those
Leicester. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Leicester. I mean, yeah, Leicester. And then the only time that he's really been a world beater was against City,
right?
And you might have benched him for that match. Who knows?
Yeah, I would have been very tempted to do so. Yeah,
and then of course the second time they play City, he scores 1.
So incentivizes you to start him in the next one, and then blanks. Yeah, they play so bad. They play so poor.
Just so bad.
It's just. I saw an article about just, how, and it makes perfect sense. Kane's still balling out, but the difference between last year and this year is just the supporting cast has just been non-existent. Kulu and Sonny just can't do shit at the moment.
Yeah.
And you thought Kulu's problem was just the injury, and now he's come back and he really hasn't performed either. So, man, he's a tough one to gauge now. I mean, I think you have to hold because he's on such a low that you're not going to get what you need from him. So you got to hold and just hope that they turn things around. They have a good schedule, but it's hard to tell what a good schedule is for Spurs because they love to counterattack. And so like a low block from Nottingham Forest actually is a pretty bad matchup.
Right.
Coincidentally. So like, who the hell knows?
Yeah. No, it's so true. What a quandary of a team this year. It's just been bizarre. You basically just hope and pray when you start any of your Spurs. And I mean, Son is having you wouldn't say like a historically bad season, but when you look at
when you juxtapose it with previously.
My God. I mean, I'm wondering, this is just for fun, but is he a first round pick next year?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's tough.
Not unless he turns it around and gives you something to hold on to. Because he's focused, or a lot of his game is predicated on that pace, and he's just getting older. So he's not like a Kane who can drop back and play playmaker. He's more the gut-wrenching runs and a good finisher, but yeah, man. And then he's lost some sets to Perisic, which he got some cheap points from those last season that he's not getting now. So yeah,
bottom line, you're not trying to trade in Kulusevski.
I don't. I mean, I think he's going to get better, but I'm not going out of my way to do it because again, he's built up enough of a reputation and name that I don't think people are going to trade him for what his current value probably is. So I don't think you're able to get him for a deal.
I worry about Richarlison too. Now that he's healthy again, I mean, you might see a little bit more rotation there.
You thought I would have thought that he would have made more cameos by now, or at least like one start. It'll be interesting to see what they do on a shorthanded week this weekend, having played midweek in Champions League. If Richarlison gets a start, I suspect he might.
Yeah,
at home against West Ham, they should be looking to be on the front foot, but who knows?
If you're a believer, you could maybe try to bring in Kulu after 25 for Wolves and Forest. Maybe not a bad idea.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on what you have to give up, but worth a shot.
Nice. All right. Well, there you go. That's your temp check. Any other thoughts quick before we move on from that?
No, I think we covered everybody.
Let's close it down then. Give us your streamers quick and sign off to the muchachos and muchachas.
I think you should be cognizant of a potential Arsenal shakeup.
Oh,
given the poor form, given this will be their third game in a week, which not really used to, given that they're out of both competitions and Europa has been on pause for a while. So if Arteta was ever going to shake things up, and he's been very resistant to that thus far, so that's obviously worth pointing out. But if he was ever going to shake it up, you'd think that the early matchup on Saturday against Villa would be the time and place. So I'm looking at that lineup. If I see Fabio Vieira, slotting him in. There's always, whenever we lose, there's a lot of anti-Xhaka
of course,
rhetoric, but he probably could use a rest. He was pretty off against City, so I could see if he was going to shake things up, Vieira for Xhaka would make sense. And then we've talked about the Trossard Martinelli dilemma, but if you have Nketiah or Martinelli, you're gonna have to wake up for that game, because there's a possibility that they might see a surprise benching. And then the fullbacks, I could see White coming back in for Tommy, who had a mare against City, and then, like I said, there's been some clamoring for Tierney to come back in, but Arteta hasn't given him any minutes, not even off the bench. So that one would surprise me, but it's still a possibility. I don't think I would want to start really either of them per se. I don't. Maybe Ben White, but I don't think I would believe in Tierney enough to start him against Villa. But
no,
I'm going to be curious to see what that lineup is.
Yeah, same. But there's a lot of streamers there that are sort of questionable, like you alluded to, right? Like just sort of maybe. Is it the first game of the game week?
Yeah, it's 7:30, or it's the early kickoff on Saturday.
I feel like there's more value to be had if you just wait.
Yeah, unless the only one that I would be clamoring to pick up if I see him on the team sheet is Vieira, probably.
Vieira, for sure.
Yeah, and I think his 2 starts, he's played really well and had I think a goal and an assist. But it'd be interesting to see what that is. But
cool.
In addition to that, going back to the tried and true poison chalice that is Southampton center backs.
Brave.
Salisu wrested back control of the Ghost Point Alpha Dog crown from Big Jan Bednarek.
Who got 0, right?
But 0 again. I've said
with
it before.
An OG.
2 goals conceded. OG 0 is pretty good.
You're right.
But still, man, in real life, he looked really bad, and obviously got the own goal, which was comical. So I'm confident going back to the Salisu who got almost 13 points with 2 goals conceded against Wolves. So I think he's probably back in his bag, and I could see Jan being relegated back to the bench and Salisu keeping this crown moving forward. So I think he's a good shot if you need defensive help.
Chelsea leads coming up.
Yeah. I think Chelsea have scored 8 goals in the last 8 games or something. Very, very goal shy. But those are the big ones. I mean, it's a tricky one. struggling with whether or not I start Kilman against Bournemouth. Bournemouth at home. Bournemouth have trouble scoring goals usually, but Dango is going to be unchained. And I just don't know if I'm just going to keep him for the. I'm obviously going to keep him for the DGW, but I'm curious if I want to start him this weekend as well. And then have Porro last game of the game week, so I can't really count on him, especially with his -1. So we'll see.
On the other hand, or on the other side of the ball, if you will, Totti likes Bournemouth boys. Which ones might he be referring to? Yeah. Which ones might he be referring to?
Anything to further his anti-Wolves narrative, which is going up in flames.
Billing, I guess maybe I'd probably start Billing.
Who would be on the wire in most?
He's available in most leagues. Are you starting defenders? Bournemouth defenders?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'd be curious.
Maybe Solanke.
Who he's talking about. Yeah, I don't like Jaden Anthony.
Dango, Traore, Billing, Solanke. Put a bow on it.
Yeah,
I don't
even know if I like Solanke or Billing really for that one, but the others for sure.
Totti also likes Brentford D.
Interesting. Who else would that be?
Palace.
Rico Henry?
They're going up against Palace. Yeah, probably Rico Henry, who notoriously scores quite low and usually needs a clean sheet to make you happy. Although he did get an assist against Southampton.
Are obviously gone.
Yep.
Ayer, I guess.
Yeah. Who? Let's see.
Actually, Ayer's been sneakily. No, never mind. He had 5.5 goal conceded, but that's not anything to write home about.
Yeah, that's all. That's all they have too. And then they have a blank coming up too. So I mean, that's a question mark for me. I have looked at them this week because Palace. We just talked about them. They're terrible, but yeah. But good, not bad streamers. Norgard, Jensen, if you can get them in.
Yeah. And he's got Doucouré. Yeah, I think we're on the same boat of whether or not to give our Everton midfielders another shout this weekend before the double. But
he says give him one last go.
Yeah.
And then he ends by saying Sims ... I don't know.
It should be question mark.
Anybody who fits neatly into Joe Gomez's pocket, I'm really not sure if I want to start him.
Yeah, if you get recalled from a loan in the lower divisions for an Everton Dyche side, I just don't know if it works out.
Yeah, what do you have? Not point. Sorry, he had 4. He had 4.
Oh, did 60. He? More than I would think.
Me
might
too.
Be onto
actually.
Something there.
Yeah, 4 and 60.
He's one of those guys that like you're really tempted on just on paper for the double, but you're just like, nah, man.
That is everyone else has been picked up, and you realize that your league mates forgot about one potential player, and you're just I don't know, throwing some dice, playing a game of craps, and just hoping.
Where did he get his points from?
Great question. Let's see.
I assume Ariel's given the freaking guy's
Ellis
stature.
Sims. He had a key pass. He had a key pass, and he had 5 aerials. There you go.
Okay.
Nope. Not for me.
It didn't work, so yeah, not for me either. I'm just trying to think if Dyche even persists with him. I wonder if he tries something different against Leeds with more of like a Damari Gray up top. But yeah, then who's going to head in on those crosses? But
right.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Cool. Well, I think that does it. Anything else to add? before we close her
I
down?
think we covered it.
Nice. Enjoy your weekend, good sir. Best of
You
luck
too,
to you
man.
and your fantasy team.
Likewise.
I think I'll need it. Like I said, I'm on a run of bad form recently, so I'm hoping to turn that around. We'll see. Plus,
Yeah.
I got Ben Chickens in the cup match this weekend.
He should be light work.
I don't think so. But we share a lot of the same players too, unfortunately. Which
I hate that.
Yeah, I know. It takes a little fun out of it, but that's all right.
Differential.
That's why we play this
Good
game, so
luck.
we don't share the same players, right? I mean,
Exactly. Yeah. This is
ridiculous.
FPL. Come on.
yeah, that's all right. It's fun going up against guys from other divisions. It's kind of cool how they do
Yeah,
that.
that's cool.
But all right, listeners, it's been a good one. If you made it this far, you always know we appreciate you. We love you. Thank you so much for your support. Thanks for reading the site. Thanks for engaging on Twitter. And again, if you have any questions, hit us up, add us. We will send it hopefully far and wide and see if we can get some more eyes on it, get some more opinions on the things that you are wondering about, your questions, your conundrums, and get you the answers that you are looking for. As always, best of luck in this game week. This has been the KPC. Community, you're the best. Talk to everyone soon. Cheers. We're out.